Cheers, everybody, and welcome to Sips and Scripts, the podcast that brings together the best of both worlds, cocktails and movies. We'll dive into an all time favorite film or explore the latest releases and pair it with a delicious cocktail while we share our thoughts, opinions, and some fascinating behind the scenes trivia when we can find it.
I know, right?
Yeah. So I'm Kirsten Jackson, and I'm a blogger and cocktail influencer at lowcountrysocialite.com.
And I'm Terrell Bernard, and I watch movies on Hulu.
Yes, you do. And you make others watch movies on Hulu.
Yes, I do. And you should be thrilled. So, everybody, welcome to the show. Appreciate y'all stopping by. I know it's a little later than usual, but we here.
Yes. We had some technical stuff, and the technical stuff was basically I'm sleepy and I'm struggling.
Technically, yeah. I guess you're right.
Yes. But we're here.
Right here.
We're here. So, if you haven't seen our little intro paragraph right there, we're going to announce the movie that we are going to discuss today, and it is the most recent Hulu horror release. It's part of Huluween.
Yep, Huluween 2024.
Yeah. So this is Terrell's episode, so I'm going to let him take it away.
Yeah, okay. So today we are going to be talking about the film Mr. Crocket. Was released on the 11th of this month, 2024.
It was?
Yeah, it just came out.
I just thought it was like last week. Well, I guess that is last week, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize it had been out for like 10 days now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just about, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about Mr. Crocket and gonna see what it do.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about it. Since I've never seen it and you've never seen it.
Well, I would say that my history with the film, so usually when we have a movie, we talk about our history with the film because we usually watch Black classics.
Right.
But sometimes a newer release will have a history, kind of, sort of. But I like I said, I saw the promos for the movie because I always tune into Halloween because Halloween movies and like Halloween season is like my favorite time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when I go back and watch all of the classics, but I watched like the baby classics like Halloween Town and Hocus Pocus and stuff like that. But every now and then like some new stuff will come out and I'll watch that. I know.
Halloween Town. I thought you was gonna stop at Halloween. I was like, okay, Halloween. All right, yeah, that's a Halloween Town.
Movies ain't really my thing. So,
all right, okay, I feel you.
But yeah, so I did add this to my list. It was on my list when I saw it. I was like, wow, that looks really crazy, and I couldn't figure out what kind of movie it was. I knew it was part of the Halloween, but right. I was meant to go back and like look at the more info section, but I just never did. It was just in my list, and so. I added it to my list, but I hadn't watched it yet. And then you messaged me and was like, we should do this movie since it's new and it's Black. And, you know, we love everything Black over here. So
why not?
So
then I turned it on.
Yeah. Well, okay, we'll talk about it. But yeah, so I watched it this morning. Usually to prepare for our episodes, I'll watch the movie. I try to watch it on Friday nights and then try to watch it again over the weekend. But I did not get to do that. And I waited so late yesterday. I was like, I don't want to watch this movie too late. And I realized that I could have because it wasn't that scary. But so I watched it this morning because when something is scary and I don't know the level of scarosity, okay, I have to watch it. The level of scarosity, you heard me. And I have to watch it in the daytime with the sun shining bright. So yes. so I watched it this morning and yeah, so that's my history with the film. Okay. You want to share your history and why you picked it and all that good stuff?
Sure, yeah. Okay, so I was scrolling through TikTok and then I saw a little clip from it. And the little clip it looked interesting. And I was like, let me check it out and see if it's any good. And I
Mhm.
was like, well, we might be able to do it for the podcast. 'Cause I was like, it's Halloween season. It's a black movie. It's supposed to be scary. It's Huluween, so they're supposed to put out some, some pretty scary stuff for this season.
Right.
And so I was like, let me shoot this by you and see if you was like want to do it. And he was like, okay. And I was like, let's do it.
Is that how it sounds?
Yeah, that's exactly how you sound. Okay. I was like,
Okay. Okay, cool. You're not wrong.
see. But yeah,
So
I only saw I didn't even see the trailer for it. But I thought I was like, this kind of looks like a Pee Wee's Playhouse type a film with mixed in with a little Mr. Rogers. So it was so it
yeah,
was giving me those vibes. So I was like, this might be pretty decent. So
yeah,
that's why I was like, well, let's see what we can make shake with this one.
yeah. Okay. Well, I will say that I turned it on and I just knew that I was gonna hate it. And I didn't. Surprisingly, I did not hate it.
Hmm?
Um, and so, but we'll get into that. But it's time now for the 60-second recap challenge.
Challenge.
So yes, this is the portion of our podcast where the hosting host
The host.
challenges the other host to a 60-second recap um, of the film. And so it's Terrell's episode. So it looks like Terrell gets to challenge me. So
Yeah, challenge. Let's
mhm.
see what you got. Last time you did great. I ain't even gonna lie. I was like,
Thank you so
yeah,
much.
I was impressed. I ain't even gonna lie.
Thank you. And I didn't even practice. And I didn't practice this time. It's
Oh,
pure, authentic, off the dome cipher style up in
okay.
here.
She freestyling. Let's get it.
Yeah, let me get a Sprite can just to make it real. You know, Sprite is the official sponsor of all ciphers.
You ain't lying. Anytime you rap it, it's a Sprite can in the room somewhere
Right.
monitoring.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock whenever you count me in, T-Rex.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hit it.
Okay, so our movie, Mr. Crocket, is part of Huluween, and it is about a man who is a sinister children's TV show character, and he somehow like tunes into the pain and suffering of upset little children all over, but more or less in it might have been in just one area.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm wasting time. So anyway, he taps into the anger of these children, and then once he locks in on it, he like goes through their TV like the Ring and steals the kids when they're very upset, and then he makes them a part of his little TV world, and it's basically like a black version of Barney. And so we have a mother who's determined to get her child back, and she does, and she sets free all of the other children, and then the movie ends, but kind of sort of. I don't feel very confident about that performance.
That was A1. I,
Yeah.
I, I understood exactly what you were saying. I was like, yep, that sounds about right. That was it. That's what happened.
I tried, and I gave
You
it my all.
succeeded. Success. Hey man. It's
I
successful.
just want to say that man, look, 60-second recap is hard. And
It
it's
is.
time for me to host again so I can challenge you. I've been challenged with like 3 times in a row here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm. And
So
it's really
next
hard to
week,
set my style.
next time, next go around.
Right. Sure, pal.
So what are we going to be sipping on today? I know you got something delicious cooked up
Yes.
for us.
So every episode we pair a cocktail with our movie, and today we are going to make a midnight mist. Is that what I'm calling it? Yes, a midnight mist. So I have all of my ingredients here,
All right.
and but I gotta pull it up.
No worries.
Yes. All right. So we're gonna start with our shaker, and we are going to fill it with ice. Yes, we got our shaker here. Filling it with ice. Not all my ice. Okay. All right. And then we need our measure, our jigger that measures. And we are going to use 2 ounces of gin. I've got our old favorite here, our tribal gin.
All right.
We need 2 ounces of that. 2 ounces in our shaker. Put that out of the way. And then we're going to use elderflower liqueur. The most popular one is Saint Germain. It's my favorite. Okay. We need 1 ounce of Saint Germain elderflower liqueur. And close that up. Then we need some lemon juice. And today I have a fresh lemon. Can you believe it?
No, I can't.
I never have a fresh lemon.
Exactly. That's why I definitely can't. Who you still that lemon?
Always use the lemon juice out of the store. But guess what? Boom! I am bona fide bartender today.
She official like a whistle, y'all.
Yes, we're gonna use 3/4 ounce of lemon juice, which is about half of a lemon. And then we are going to use just a little bit of honey in our shaker.
Okay.
All right, so we'll put the top on. But before we give it a shake, we're going to fill a highball glass with ice. I needed some of my ice left over, you see? All right, then we're going to give it a shake. Let it get nice and chilled. And we'll take the top off and strain it into our highball glass. This looks really good. All right, so we've got some rum left in our glass for us to top it. Now, the recipe calls for club soda. I don't like club soda.
Right.
I feel like it may, in some drinks it has its place, but like I like drinks to be a little sweeter, so I like to use like Sprite or like a flavored seltzer water. Club soda.
Did someone say Sprite?
So I'm going to use Sprite.
Okay.
There we go. And we're just going to top our cocktail with a Sprite to make it fizzy, to give it its mist. And I got a straw around here somewhere. Here it is.
You looking for that straw is hilarious.
Say what? You sent me the straw.
For that straw. I'm like, what?
Shut up.
Somewhere.
Oh, that's really good. So here we have our midnight mist. To get ready. So if you have the ingredients, pour yourself a glass and settle in so we can crack open this Mr. Crocket film. All right, Terrell.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Mr. Crocket. It was, like I said, it came out October 11th of this year. There's not much information on it, but it stars Elvis Nolacio as Mr. Crocket.
I could not say his name either. I was kind of struggling with that.
And I apologize, sir, because I don't know how to pronounce your name. Even though I've seen you around in a few things that I've seen. So I'm like, and
I have not
then
seen him before.
I think if you saw his real picture, because he looks nothing like this the Mr. Crockett at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you look up his real picture, you're like, oh, okay. And then we got Jerica Hil- Hinton.
Yes, Jerica Hinton. Now, um, her I do know because she
And
was in Grey's Anatomy.
she looks like somebody else, but I was like, oh, okay, that's not her. She kind of reminds me of another actor that I've seen around before, but I
Who?
can't think of her name, so it doesn't matter. And then we
Okay.
have Aiden Gavin. That's the little boy.
Okay.
Crystalline Lloyd as the mother in the beginning.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and a host of other characters that I'm not going to try to pronounce their names.
Got you. Got
But
you.
this movie was directed by Brandon Espy, and he's the director of the film. Like he has some films under his credit, and on Rotten Tomatoes, this got a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I was surprised. So
I saw that. I was very surprised at that as well. Um, and I meant to go back and read some of the Rotten Tomato reviews
mhm.
because I just looked at the percentage, but I was surprised. Um, but yeah,
But the audience was like, nah, they gave it a 56%. They wasn't really feeling it like that. But
that's still pretty good though for Rotten
yeah,
Tomatoes.
yeah, true, 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 true. All right, man. So you ready? Ready to jump into this thing?
Yeah.
All right. So while I was watching the film, though, everything that just kept popping into my head was like, if you had children, let's say hypothetical children, we're taking care of kids, we got kids, I got kids, you got your kids, and do you think Mr. Crockett would come take your kids away from you based on how you treat your child or children?
He okay, so oh well, yeah, you answered.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer this first. And I was thinking, I was like, sometimes I can be a little much. I think he would think about taking my kids away, and then I do something, and then he'd be like, "Nah, I'm gonna leave them kids with him." But for the most part, I believe the little box will show up at my house at least once or twice, just to remind
Okay.
me. All right, now, are you getting crazy now? I'm like,
Okay.
so yeah,
Well,
I think it would show up. At least the box would show up. I probably wouldn't go in there because I'd be like, "What is this box doing here?" And I take that, take it down. I'm like, I don't want this in my yard.
I didn't realize until the around the end of the film that it was set in the 90s or
Oh,
two.
90s. Yep, 1993.
Okay. Cause I was like, how they gonna play that? But okay. So everybody had a VCR.
hmm
Um, but I was it seemed to me like Crockett came. I thought that he was just coming to like abusive parents, but he
Yeah,
was like going to because that girl, all she did was just say something mean to the child,
yeah, yeah,
and so he really didn't have like any parameters set like who he would take or not. It was like anytime this kid is upset in this little village or town, what was it, Shuri Bottom or something?
yeah, something like that. I was like, fictional town. Okay, nobody. I don't know what state they were in. They were just like, "Hey, we here. We in this place."
Yeah. And I did kind of like that it was isolated to this town,
hmm
because the movie that was on the calendar was Candyman,
Right.
and Candyman is like that, and
hmm
in this like projects, and I one of the interesting things about that movie is that everybody knows the Candyman movie, but nobody really talks about or shares how black it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like his blackness was like wiped away. Um, but it was basically the guy from the projects
Yeah.
killing folks. And I
Mm-hmm.
like how this movie was very black.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
It was a very, very black film. But I would say I don't know because he just really just kind of seemed to at his
I
own
think
discretion.
if you were like abusing your child or neglectful to your child, I think he killed you. I think if you just were, verbal with your child or just didn't pay your child that much attention, he just took him.
Okay.
From what I could see.
Okay. Because that was actually one of my questions for you. Like
Mhm.
my question was, does he only kill men? Because
Oh.
it seemed like, he let the mothers off,
Mhm.
but he just killed the men that was in their lives. And I was thinking maybe that was because like, we find out in his backstory that he killed his father.
Right.
So like maybe the mothers they get their children taken away. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Like the mothers
Mhm.
get off a little easier, they get their children taken away, but the men have to die.
Huh. I never saw it that way. I just thought it was whoever was being the worst because that stepfather in the beginning, he was a straight asshole. I was like, my
He
God,
was pretty
it's not
awful.
that serious. I'm like, it's not that serious. He just kept on going. I was like, and then Mr. Crockett was looking like, okay, that's enough. He just kept on going.
He did swoop in like, settle down now.
It was like he was giving him a chance. Like he was like the video stopped and he was looking. That part was crazy. I thought that part was pretty cool when the video stopped and everybody was just looking like, is he gonna stop? He gonna keep going? Okay, I'll be right back, y'all. He dips down. I was like, oh, he about to come out there.
Yeah. Yeah. It yeah, but that I was like, maybe that is, so maybe I guess maybe we're both right. Maybe it's a little bit
A
of
little bit of
both
both.
with the mothers and
Because
the men.
even the mother I thought he did kill, he didn't.
Talking about Darren's mom, I think it was Darren.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Hmm.
mother from the beginning. Like I thought, like, and it was funny because I watched it again, and he stabs her. When you see it, the stake goes through the front part of her, but when it cuts again, it's in the side of her neck. But then when you go to the clothing drive, there's no scar. She's just in a sling. Not a bandage or nothing. I'm like, you get stabbed in the neck, you're gonna need more than an arm sling.
Look, man, look. See, don't be worrying about all the
What
specifics. You just focus on
details?
the pot.
Yeah, don't be worried about the details. That's crazy. Like you
Yeah,
stab somebody, I
yeah.
need to see
You're
what
asking too
happened.
much.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, okay. I'm doing some fancy camera work here. I see you.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even look at all that. Yeah, you're right. um, well, but like I was saying, when we first opened up,
Hmm.
this movie, I felt like it was on my list and I was gonna check it out, but I was gonna watch it leisurely, not, like critically like we do movies here.
Right.
But so when you put it on the calendar, I was, oh, man, I'm gonna hate this. But I was pleasantly surprised at some of the things that I really liked about the film. There were a lot of themes that
Mm.
we could definitely have conversations about, and there were also like some plot choices and some like just like the way things were shot
Mhm.
uh that was pretty interesting and that I actually enjoyed. Now, will I say that this was just like an amazing film?
No.
Oh.
Don't tell them lies.
Will it
It was
be
cool. It wasn't
like when
amazing.
I say amazing film, I don't mean like good or bad because I mean that stuff is like
Subjective.
subjective. But
Right. Mhm.
would it be like a classic? No, I don't
No.
think so.
No, I won't
Um,
go back to this next Halloween like, "Oh, I'm sorry, throwing that Mr. Crockett." I'll be like, yeah.
no.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna come out with a sequel though. The sequel is coming. I feel it.
Yeah, the ending did leave like some opening for a sequel. And it was very strange, but okay.
Yeah, that was a choice.
Um, but one thing that I do want to talk about is the adultification of Black children.
Mhm.
So as Mr. Crockett is telling his story, actually, you know what? I'll start before there because there was at least two situations in the film where that was definitely apparent. And it was like, and when I say, I guess I should explain because not everybody will know, or I guess, what the adultification of Black children. And it's basically like how white people and others see Black children as older. Like white preteens and teenagers, they are young and innocent, but Black children, especially when they get into trouble, they're seen
Mhm.
as thugs and troublemakers. Like police always perceive them as older than they actually are.
Right.
And it's also present in and not even just how others treat Black children, but also how Black people treat Black children. Like you'll hear things like, oh, this girl, she's fast, she's
Yeah.
dressed into, she's too flip, she's too fast, she's grown,
Mhm. Right.
stuff like that. So like that theme was very present in this film, and it was one that stayed with me the most. Like I said, the first instance was where um when what's the young boy's name? The Major.
Major,
When
yeah.
Major is first taken and the police come, and his mother Summer is sitting and she's like crying, and I get, and to be fair, she does sound crazy if she says
The man
someone
from the
came to the
TV.
TV and took my child.
Yeah.
But you can hear they have the police talking in the background, and it's like, oh, um this kid probably, he was like, I feel sorry for this kid. He probably just ran off. I mean, look at his junky mother
Yeah.
talking about someone came through the TV. And
Mhm.
instead of like saying something like, we got to find this kid, or I mean, because Major, how old was he? Like 8?
8. Yeah, he was 8 years old, and they was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll be
But
alright. It's all for the best." I was
yeah,
like,
they basically said, oh, look at his junky mom. Can you blame him for running off? He's a
yeah,
smart kid. He ran off. Like,
yeah.
how do you come to the conclusion that an 8-year-old is better off on his own in the streets,
Mhm. Then
like
home with his mother.
that he ran off and he'll be okay? Like
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that would have been a young white child, especially a young white girl,
Oh, they would
that
have
would have, like, the whole city would have been on alert.
helicopters, FBI,
Absolutely.
county, state. Everybody would have been
Absolutely.
there.
Like everybody would have been hunting for this child. So so there was that, and then also there was another scene when Mr. Crockett is talking about his flashback when we learn about the Anthony character.
Mhm.
When so the cops show up to his home, we gather, and he stabs the cops, right? So then a
Yeah.
third cop comes in and starts, and Anthony runs out of the closet and he just starts shooting. Anthony was a
Mhm.
child,
Right.
but to these officers, he was perceived as a threat. But
Exactly. Even though he
Crockett,
wasn't doing anything other than running
right, he
because
was
he was
a
scared.
child.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what
Exactly.
kids
But
do. When kids get scared, they get fleet of foot. They out of there.
absolutely,
Or they should.
absolutely. And it's like, hmm, that would not have happened to a young white child. Um, because when young white children are running, they are seen as being in danger, and when young Black or brown children are running, they are seen as being a danger.
Mm.
So that, like, the scenes like that, it was just like very, that theme, that adultification of just like Black and brown children was really present with me. Did you notice or pick up on any of that?
No, not until you said something about it. I didn't think about it at all, but I thought it was strange that the police would say she was a junkie. I was like, what gave you the indication that this lady was on any type of drugs whatsoever? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I guess just solely what she was saying, because it is far fetched for somebody to be coming out of your TV. But the thing is, but you know what? You're right, because any like another race, it would have been like, oh, she's having a mental break. But because
yeah,
it was a black woman, she's a junkie.
junkie. I was like, those don't sound like tales of a junkie. Those
Right. That sounds
sounds
like
like
somebody that's having an active like psychosis. So,
exactly.
but yeah. So that and when I picked up on those themes, I was like, okay, this is interesting, because I just knew it was going to be silly and campy and just like. But I was like, okay, there's some real like themes in this movie that I can kind of pick up on and get behind. So yeah, but but yeah, and I don't know, that whole thing, like people perceiving black children as older,
Mhm.
it scares me, and I can't speak for you, but I would imagine that it is
What
scary
happens is I
raising two
have
boys.
yeah, and they look older than they are. They literally
And
look older than they are
especially
because
Landon, because he's so tall, you know.
exactly,
And
exactly.
but when you talk to him, you'd be like, okay, he's a
That is a
kid.
child. Yeah, that's definitely a child now. You're not gonna get it twisted. You're not gonna be like, "Oh, well, we didn't know." Like, no, you definitely knew
Yeah.
because he sounds like a child.
It reminds me of, like, you remember Dane Cook, comedian. You know, he's
Yes.
my favorite comedian. Um, he had this little bit where he like talk about the age of like when black children get scary,
Mhm.
and I'm like, so
If
my
it's
question to you is, what age do you think that is?
an
Because
age,
there's something that happens where like black children go from being cute to scary to other people, and when is that?
cute to scary, I don't know.
And maybe it's different for different people, but
Yeah, I think
no.
guess it depends on the setting. Where are you? Where are you, black child? Where is the child at?
Well, apparently they can just be in their home sitting playing with toys. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It depends on how many you got. You know what I mean?
Multiple.
I'm not gonna lie. If it's a goo gaggle,
Goo gaggle. Yeah.
then I'm like 15, 16, old enough to drive. You old enough to drive, then I'm already scared because I don't think you need to be on the road.
But the thing is, I think it starts even younger than that, because like, you know, we've heard of like kids playing in the park, and especially like, to me, and I don't have children, so I can't really speak on it too heavily, but like if I had children, I would be scared to let them play with toy guns, because
Mm,
that
yeah, yeah,
there have been times where, you know, they've been playing with toy guns and it's been taken for a real gun. And it's like,
exactly. Even though it looks nothing like a real gun.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And my thing is, I let them play, but they only play inside. Like they never go out. They ain't never been outside with a toy gun.
Yeah.
And the toy guns that they use is like the ones with they shoot the Nerf stuff. So it
Mhm.
don't even look like a real gun at all.
Yeah. And I mean, like, and not to knock any parent, of course, because toy guns are a part of boy adolescence. Well, all kids love it, but boys really love that stuff.
Yeah.
But um, but yeah, it's scary. It's a scary world that we live in. But yeah. So um I now so the next thing that I like want to talk about is why I actually kind of enjoyed this film a lot more than I thought. And it was because Mr. Crockett is my favorite type of villain.
Yeah. Yeah. He's good. I like him.
That villain that is doing evil, sinister shit because they feel like it's the right thing to do, and like
Mhm.
a purification kind of thing.
Mhm.
I love villains like that. That are they do what they do with a smile, with a sinister smile. Like to me, those are the scariest, most entertaining villains ever.
And he was giving that smile. He was singing and dancing and killing.
Yes, and not in that order. Just
Yeah.
random.
One time he's dancing, next time he killing, next time
Yeah,
he's singing. I'm like, okay, all right, sir.
yeah,
All right, Mr. Crockett.
yeah. It was, yeah. He that is like my favorite type of villain. Like, um, and I also feel like that type of villain does not get the respect that other villains in stories get.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm gonna explain what I mean by that.
Go
Like,
ahead.
so my all-time favorite show is Supernatural, right?
Mhm.
Okay. My favorite villain in that show is like, because I'm a part of supernatural groups and people talk about it. My favorite villain in that show is a guy named Dick Roman.
Mhm.
And he is like killing with a smile. Like, he's like this politician and he's just like, but he's really like deep down, he's a monster.
Mhm.
So,
Like
but
most
you in
politicians.
those
Mhm.
hot, well, in, in those groups, people are like, I hate that season. It's my least favorite season. But to me, it's my favorite season. And it's because like that type of villain is my favorite type of villain. And then there's also like take the Harry Potter series.
Mhm.
Of course, the main villain is Voldemort.
Right.
Fine. But people don't really talk much about Dolores Umbridge, who is that type of villain where she's like, I'm purifying the school and doing it with a smile,
Right.
And any Harry Potter people know what I'm talking about. But and
Oh
it's
yeah.
like those villains never become they are never the favorite villains. They're always like the most hated villains.
Mhm.
And folks like, Voldemort and you know, the big bads get all the love for people who love
Villain.
villains.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
I
can see.
I love those kind of villains.
Yeah, I can see why he would be. I thought he was great. I really did. I thought Mr. Crockett was. He seemed really sincere in his convictions. I believe he really thought he was saving these children, and
Mhm.
some of them he actually did save. Because like the lady, the young girl, and the father that was the junkie.
Yeah, because that shit was finna go down bad.
Yeah, it really
It looked like
was.
they were right on the cusp of him really starting to abuse her.
Exactly. Like you talk to your mother like that. I was like, oh, bro, where is this young girl's mother? Why are you watching this child?
Yes. Yeah,
Some people I'll be
that
like, you shouldn't have kids. You shouldn't be around kids. And he was definitely one. Like she came out the room, the needle was still in his arm. I was like,
yeah, yeah.
I don't know nothing about drugs, but I know that that's not a good look.
Yeah. And like all of the other kids, I ain't gonna say they deserved, any abuse, but like they were pretty bratty kids.
Yeah. Major
Because
was
Darren
out of control.
Major was not likable. Major
No.
was annoying. And I get it. I think that we were supposed to really see how broken this family was after the father's death and
Hmm.
how they were both struggling.
Hmm.
But it's like, I was like, damn, Major, like, I know you ate and I know you're struggling, but you being an asshole,
To your
dude.
mama. Yeah. For no reason.
Yeah.
For no reason at all. It was like she was doing the best she could with what she could
Yeah.
do. And it's like it's tough.
It
But
made me
I'll be
really,
like, single mothers, I'll be like, hats off to y'all because it's tough,
yeah.
especially if it's a boy. Boys are it's just different. Boys are different. They are a lot rougher, a lot.
Yeah.
They really get it cracking. Like when it's time for them to turn up, they really turn up. Like
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And it's like, and I don't know, it made me have to really be like, okay, let me show this child some grace because he is grieving, and I
yeah,
get that, but he is being really terrible. And I did feel sorry for her. And I I don't know, but I also feel like she was giving her all, but she wasn't enough. He needed more. Like
Yeah.
But this was the 90s,
Mhm.
and Black people in therapy just wasn't a thing then.
True.
Terrible. I
But
mean,
she was trying. She got the tape.
she was trying,
The
but he
tape
needed
with
more.
the tape that she got where it was like, "Let the child spank you." I was like, "Did you hear that part? Did you?"
Yes, I was like, ma'am, throw that in the trash, because that
She
sounds
did.
like
That's
it's gonna
exactly
go.
what she did. She didn't just throw it in the trash. She took the tape out of and ripped the
She
ribbon out. I
ripped the
was like,
guts out of that tape.
"Yeah, that was a good move. Don't nobody else need to get hold of that tape because I heard let the child spank you. Like, why would you let a child?"
I was, wait a minute now. What section of the
Yeah,
bookstore did you get this because yeah, that was
but
not
she
going.
was really, really trying because I think she was at her wit's end, and it's hard. You're trying to make
She
ends
was, and
meet,
I'm
and then
sure
you're
she
trying
was
to get
grieving
stuff
too, you know.
exactly. Because I'm pretty. It seemed like it was a real sudden death. It wasn't like, oh, he had been sick, or was he sick, or did they say?
I don't think they ever really said, unless I missed it. But yeah, that
Like
that
all of a
family was
sudden,
really broken.
he was coaching. Then next thing you know, he's dead.
Yeah, I didn't know if it had been an accident or something, but it seemed, like you said, pretty sudden. So I don't know, but yeah, that family was really broken,
Yeah,
and
but I do have a question for you.
okay,
What do you feel about children in funerals? Because
children in funerals.
yeah, Major at like when he was supposed to go to the funeral, like he was really adamant about not going. Like, would you force a child to go to a funeral if they were really, really adamant about not going?
Um, you know, oh well, you answer
I
first.
don't I was kind of torn. I was thinking like funerals are like no one wants to see a loved one like that, especially a child, because you don't know how the child is going to process it. Because children process things so differently than we do because they don't fully understand what's going on. And it even led to that after the fact when he was sleeping and was having that nightmare and his mom woke him up and he was like, I want my dad. And it was like he just couldn't process the fact that the father was gone. So I'm like, forcing him to go in and then sit like on the front row at his father's funeral, like when he really was like against being there, it was like I don't know. I think I it would is there someone who could watch him in the back? Like he doesn't have to come into the service, but somebody take him out into like the atrium or to the back to the fellowship hall and just sit with him until he was ready. If he wanted to come in, he'd be able to come in. But like just to force him to come in, it just seems like it's a little much because just like I said, kids don't know how to process stuff like that when they see it for the first time.
Yeah. Um, I I really don't have an answer for that, because I feel like obviously each child is gonna be different.
Right.
But I will say that one thing that this movie was missing, and I don't know, I'm not going to say that it was necessary to move the plot forward,
Mhm.
but as far as like if I'm to look at it as like a real life scenario, one thing would be that, and I know that losing a parent is hard, but losing sorry, losing a spouse is hard too.
Right.
Um, and so I'm sure people do the best they can with whatever tools and resources they have available to them. And
Mhm.
sometimes when you're grieving, you just don't have any tools and resources in you. You're just empty. But before, and I tread lightly because I don't have children, like I don't have young children, but I before I force a child to go to a funeral, I feel like as a parent, it would be
Mhm.
my responsibility to talk with that child,
Mhm.
assess how they're feeling,
Right.
explain to them about death. And that also, not to get off subject, but I also think that that's why before death happens, there should be conversations about death in your household, because death
Mm.
is unavoidable.
Right.
Like just like other parts of life, like how we hear all the time, like everybody's rite of passage is when your parent talks with you about the birds and the bees.
Right.
Everybody
Mm-hmm.
talks about that, but we don't hear people have conversations with their children about death, about, you know, like most recently, like with all of the like police brutality stuff, we've seen commercials and people like encouraging parents to have conversations with their children about, you know, if they're stopped by the police, especially when they become driving age.
Right.
So having those conversations, but I think that also conversations about have like broken hearts, about death,
Right.
about, you know, just things in life that are unavoidable.
Yeah.
And death is so scary. I get it. Like, if death is scary, you don't want to talk about it. But
Exactly. Because you
you
don't
know,
want to ever think of somebody like, oh, okay, one day I might be gone, and you have
right?
to take care of this, this, and that. And they're like, you might be gone. They're probably thinking like, where are you going?
Exactly. And like kids process things differently.
Right.
And one thing I have learned, because I've done it myself as a child, if when kids don't have all the answers, they fill in the blanks themselves, and they usually fill it up with bullshit.
Yeah.
And like, so you have to kind of guide them and talk to them and let them know that some parts of life suck, but they are natural and they're unavoidable. Everybody's going to die. That is
Mhm.
just the reality. Um, so, and in it, to me, the way I interpreted that scene was that there probably wasn't a conversation about, you know, what happened and, you know,
Mm.
the process of death. It was just like, put your suit on, we're going to your dad's funeral. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, yeah, and they didn't give any kind of lead up to it, or you know how you straighten up the son's tie and you make sure the
Mhm.
jacket ain't got no lint on it, and then you talk to him, and then you, all right,
Yeah.
we about to go. Yeah, like something like that would have made it a little better to just showing up and like, because I didn't know where they was going at first. I was like, where they at?
Yeah, it looked like she was just, and then I don't know. The scene was just so strange because it was also very different from how a black funeral is. You know, we usually have a
Mhm.
processional. So
Exactly.
I was like, where are they going? She just like snatched his ass up and they just walked to the front of the church. And it was like, okay. And look, we Southern, maybe funerals are different in other parts of the world, but
Yeah.
usually in a black Southern funeral, there's a processional. You don't just show up after everybody's there and like just go up there like, oh, I didn't even know he died. Well, let me get dressed and go. It was like that. And so I don't know. Oh,
Yeah.
we have someone tuning in from Africa. Hello.
Good evening.
um, but so yeah, I don't have an answer for that. But I don't think I would just like drag a child up there if they're not ready to go to this funeral and they're acting so closed off.
Mhm.
Then I don't care. I mean, the funeral, it's the funeral that I'm throwing for my husband anyway. So I'd be look, guys, I got to take my child in the back and talk to him a bit. You guys can sit and talk amongst yourself. Me and my child are going to talk about this.
Hmm.
Because it felt like it was the beginning of him just having this really closed off, angry behavior.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. But no, I wouldn't. I guess that was the long answer, and I guess the short answer is no. I wouldn't just force a child to
For
just
them.
like so. Mhm.
Well, this was 1993.
Yeah. And the 1993-ness of it, I do want to talk about because I have a question for you.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
There was a scene in the film after the funeral at the repast where I guess they're at the house, and this older black girl was like, "You need to beat him, and you need to put your hands on him, and you know because he got an attitude." And I was like, the kid didn't really even do nothing. All he was like was, "I want to play
Can
my
I go
game."
outside? Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to play my
or play
game. I want to
something.
go outside. Yeah. He didn't want to be there. I mean, it's not a place. It wasn't really a place for kids. It's a bunch of
Yeah.
grown
And
ups.
I was like, what did he say that was so flip? Like she was like, he's got a mouth on him, and you need to handle that by beating the hell out of him.
Yeah.
And So that advice is not too far fetched from like older black people because they say that.
Mm-hmm.
But
They
what bothered me about that was you guys were supportive enough to show up for like pound cake and chicken and shit like that.
Yeah.
But when this family was broken and really needed support, there was nobody there. Not that we saw.
No, you're right. Yeah, nobody else. After that, you don't see anyone else show up to the house unless it was the police.
Yeah.
Those and Mr. Crockett. Those are the only two people that showed up to the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah. And then the thing is, okay, so we it's already established that Mr. Crockett is the villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was a scene in the film where the first mother was like, maybe he's better off with Mr. Crockett, because it was like, he can give him this world, and I've lost my mind. I'm homeless now. That was like without saying it. That's basically what she was saying.
She went out bad.
Like, yes, she did. And then it was like, to me, this movie has some strong parallels to like CPS and like Child Protective Services. How they can come in and snatch a kid, and mothers, especially like single black mothers with no support system, are like not given help and resources. Their kids are just taken away.
Exactly.
And like, I just like, especially around the end of the film, like I was like strongly thinking about like how like it's like just some of the parallels between like Crockett, seemingly this well-meaning entity, could just come in and snatch your kid. And we see that all the time. And I'm not trying to say that CPS is a villain. That's not what I'm saying. However,
I think other people would disagree.
I'm just saying, like, I can see how they could be perceived as a villain, especially when you just snatch a kid away, you don't offer any resources, like, and no one in the community is like helping single mothers. Or they're just automatically assuming that, like these families that need help, they're just abusive, and these kids just need to be pulled out of there.
Right.
And I don't know, I felt like strong parallels between like the Mr. Crockett character and like how CPS and like agencies like that could be perceived as a villain in like Black communities.
Okay. Hey, you was deep in thought
early this morning. Made me think, and that surprised me.
You was like, I'm like, man, it was crazy. And you was like, man, CPS. Vacation to children. I was like,
I am who I am.
Okay, tell me more.
Look, man, let me tell you something. Since we've been doing this podcast for like 3 years, right? So I can't enjoy movies like I used to and be like, that was entertaining, and then click the remote and turn the TV off and go to bed. I'd be like, there was distinct parallels between this and this. Like, so it's difficult. I see everything critically now. I'm a blast at parties.
Yeah, I bet. Like, go talk. Like, is she making drinks or not?
That's right. I'm slinging drinks and theories over here.
Just drinks, please.
But yeah, that is how I felt, because he was like, I'm doing this. I'm doing what I feel is best.
Yeah.
Removing your child from your home, and like, I don't know. Is that crazy?
But how he got them to stay there, I was like, because that place was horrible. That was a horrid place. I was like, like it looked so different to the kids, because I guess kids see things differently. They thought it was this fun time, having a blast, they living their best life. But when you looked at the reality of it, it was awful. I was like, oh my God. Major, you don't want to go home, son? You sure? You sure?
Yeah. Major? I thought I wanted to be here, but all y'all doing is singing and dancing. You didn't see them kids eat nothing. You didn't see them play with nothing. They were just there singing.
That's it, man. Oh man, them songs was hitting. I ain't gonna lie.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong because he found a rhyme with everything. Like wow, yeah. He was freestyling over all the little nursery rhymes and stuff. It was great. So,
Oh man.
but yeah, were there any scenes that you wanted to dig into?
I think the scene about I don't know. I just his powers seemed like it was almost like Freddy Krueger, but in the real world. Like if Freddy Krueger actually came into the real world, you'd be like, oh my, we got to get out of here. like he only mess with you in your dreams, but like Mr. Crockett is out. Like he show up at your house, sitting on your favorite chair, telling you how comfortable it is. like
Some of the stuff he was saying, I was enjoying it. Like he was insane. I love those type of villains, man. They'd just be like, I'm stabbing you in the face because I feel that's what's best for you.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
everything was always like, yeah, I'm here to help. He's
yeah.
basically like, I'm here to help. That is it.
Yes, the villains that deliver that line, I'm only here to help. Man, they look. I love it. It's so funny to me.
Because it made me
Like,
think. I was like, seems helpful. And then he started doing other stuff. I was like, that ain't helpful.
yeah. Yeah. And yeah, he was it was very sinister. I enjoyed this villain. And I can't lie, it was silly, it was stupid. It's not one of those that was like, wow, real wonderful horror writing, but it was just like it was so entertaining and I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
Like just him. Now the plot of the movie, one thing I did like that they did was they filled in they did not, I talked about this before. Like the movie was an hour and a half. It was a tight hour and a half. That
Mhm.
is horror movie gold.
That's what you
Okay.
need. Lee Daniels, take notes.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Running
a
a
tight
3-hour
hour
epic.
and a half. Yes. It was not some 3 hour drama. And things that we needed to know the backstory of, they showed us a little short cartoon.
And that
He
was it.
explained it, and it was like zip tight. We moving on to the next scene, and I was like, okay, it didn't leave us in the dark about stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, why is he doing this? Okay.
yeah,
He knew
we
his
got
motivation.
backstory,
Exactly. It was quick.
and now there were some plot holes that I wish were filled in, like how the father died and all that stuff. But I felt like that was we didn't necessarily need that, but
Yeah.
the backstory that we needed about Crockett, they gave it to us. They didn't spend a lot of time. They let him tell his own story, and it was like, and he even did that in a sinister way because usually they have that. Like in movies where there are villains, there's usually like the villain's about to kill you, but he's like, but I just want to tell you why I'm about to kill you. And then they waste all their time and get caught. He even told his backstory in a sinister way. It was like, children, sit down. I got a story for you. Like
y'all want to hear that story? Y'all want to hear the story about Mr. Crockett? Like,
and I was at home. I really kind of do. So I thought that was really smart how it was done. And so the movie is not something to take very seriously. It is very silly and obnoxious.
Yeah.
But there were some parts that I enjoyed. Crockett was an enjoyable villain. That's really all I have to say about this film. Mm-hmm. You got any final thoughts?
No, I believe we hit the corners.
Oh,
about 4 times.
Yes. Well, then I think we can move into best, worst, weirdest. So this is the part of our show where we each talk about the best, the worst, and the weirdest part of the movie. And Terrell, you want to show them how it's done?
Sure. All right. So the best part of the film was Mr. Crockett.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stunt. He was good. He was a great villain. He made me think, like, is he doing the right thing? Like, cause some of them kids, I saw them kids, I was like, cause you knew that stepfather in the beginning, you knew he was abusive. Oh, you gonna make me get up? Anytime somebody say you gonna make me get up, you ain't getting up to give him no hug. You
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the drug filled father, you knew it wasn't gonna end well for her.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, was he doing these kids a favor? Or was he really saving these kids? I mean, there's other things he could have did, but he
I
did
mean,
what
he
he
was
knew
a
to
demon.
do.
So was he a demon? I do have that question. Was he a demon, or did he just make a demon pact? Do you become a demon when you make a demon pact?
Oh, that's supernatural. I don't know.
Supernatural, I believe, would say yes.
They would say yes.
Act a
Then
demon.
that's probably it. That's probably the answer. Ask John and Dean. What's their name? Mike and
Yes,
Dean.
my cousins be knowing. Sam and Dean. They
Sam
know.
and Dean. There we go. They know. Their other cousin don't know.
See, if you watch the show, you'd have an answer. But anyway.
So yeah, that Mr. Crockett was the best part of the film. The worst part of the film would have been the worst part of the film was just it really kind of, the story, it made sense, but it was kind of like, why would that happen? Why would this happen? Why would no one say anything about this? Why would the police not put this together? These children are coming up missing all in the same thing, and people keep talking about this man coming out of the TV, and nobody's like, that sounds like a something we need to put together. That sounds like a pattern. Like, they weren't following any, like, the police was just like, kids is missing. That's crazy.
But but it was a black neighborhood. So it was just like, it was easier to just say everybody on drugs than to like actually do some police work.
Yeah.
So
the kids just ran away. Like, and they ran away and what? To flip their TV over? Like,
that was so crazy. But the thing is, it was like, usually you'd be like, that was crazy. Police wouldn't do that. But I don't know. That was like, that wasn't too far-fetched for the police to be like, man, look, we in this junkie neighborhood. Kids flip TVs and run away all the time. I mean, they ate. I'm sure they got a job. They fine.
Yeah, they moved into their own place.
Yeah, and they're better for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that shit was crazy.
The weirdest part of this movie was the first mother, Rhonda. I'm like, so this whole time, your son ain't been missing but so long, because it still was 1993. So it wasn't like, because I thought when they went forward some years. Oh, okay, they about to take this from 93 to 2000 something. But no, they stayed in 93. And Rhonda found a way to get electricity in her little tent, TVs in her little tent. It was really like, all of a sudden she turned into this electrical engineer. With the abilities to tap into Mr. Crockett's mind. I was, what is going? Like, that's something I've never seen before in a movie. I was like, okay, sometimes you can do some far-fetched stuff, but this was just impossible, the stuff she was doing. I was like, who was powering this tent? She got like 10 TVs set up.
And TVs was expensive back in the day.
Exactly, man, them big back TVs.
Yes, big booty TVs.
She was just sitting there living her best life in that tent. She had a little security system and everything. That part was so weird. I was like, how was she able to do this? Like, what was she before? Was she like,
yeah. Well.
So yeah, that was a weird, best, worst, and weird for me. How about you? What's your best, worst, weirdest?
So my best, worst, weirdest. So the best part to me, again, just like you said, Crocket was a dynamic character. He was so funny, so entertaining. I don't know who this actor is. I know you said you've seen him before, but he was giving his all. That was some straight up hardcore physical comedy, physical acting that he was doing. Like he was in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
He gave it his all.
I like he was believably insane. And I was so entertained. I cannot lie. I was so entertained by that. So that to me, that was the best. The worst would be, to me, the worst would be the script, the writing of the script was not all that great. But in a horror movie, you really don't need that, especially one like that's a really action packed horror, like a lot of physical stuff going on. But there was, so the interaction between the guy who was actually Anthony, what he said his name was Ben or something.
Yeah, he said his name was Ben, but he was really Anthony.
Right. So there was when he was like, yeah, I think, there's probably somebody that knows what, we've gone through. So just give me your number and we'll just, figure it out. I mean, that was just like, I couldn't tell if it was like because this was just bad writing or if he was just somebody we couldn't trust. And even though it turned out to be somebody we couldn't trust, I also still think it was just bad writing.
But the twist didn't twist to me. I figured it out as soon as he came on the screen. I was like, oh, that's the boy. that's him.
The boy?
That's the boy. He all grown up now. That's the one who got saved. That's him right there. That's they showed like that must have been that dude real baby picture, because that kid looked so much like that. I was like, they pulled the real baby picture. I was like, here you go.
And but whoever did the cartoon when Crocket was telling us the backstory, I was like, that looked like that nigga.
Oh, that's when you knew for sure.
That's when I knew it dawned on you before it hit me, because I was like, I didn't really think about it, and then when I saw the cartoon, I was, that show looked like a cartoon version of that little dude, but okay.
Yeah, because he was really like.
Yeah, I mean, if you just use the brown crayon, we already know it's the brown dude.
Yeah, not just the brown crayon.
So, but yeah, that to me, like some of the writing, and then like the writing was not all that great. But and I think in a horror movie like this, the writing didn't need to be that great. As long as Mr. Crockett's writing was great and his writing was great. So that's all you needed. So that was my worst. And the weirdest, that whole tent setup, I feel like.
And they tried to make it make sense because they tried to put it next to like a little, I don't know, a cell phone. I don't know what that thing was next to, but that tent was, I was like, it didn't make any sense.
I wasn't trying to call the lady dumb, but I was like, your child only been gone a few months and you learned how to not only, you've had time to lose your mind, lose your home, build a tent, gather televisions, and then learn how to be a human conduit for the energy that Mr. Crocket is.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, maybe you could do that on a weekend. I don't know.
Out on the weekend.
But okay. I wish that, to me, look, I like supernatural movies. I like the show, but I also like supernatural type movies. And to me, it would have been better if it was like, oh, we found a ritual to call Mr. Crocket. But that whole like, I'm gonna connect with the TV, and then my eyes are gonna blip out, and then we're gonna know where he's going. It was like this. You were like this electromagnetic GPS in your eyeballs. It was, I don't even know how to explain that.
Like, this is the street he's gonna be on. This is the exact street. These are the cross streets. Like, all these people live on the corner?
Yeah. and there's a 9-minute traffic delay on this street. What?
She was Google Maps before it was Google Maps. She was
I was like, now that's okay. And I get it. They were trying to to stay within those parameters of having to be like the TV waves. But I was just like, that was not, to me, that was not completely fleshed out. But you know what? Okay, it's okay. I'm okay with it. It's fine. It was just weird.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was my best worst weirdest. But it's happy hour. Who you having a cocktail with? Let's open up happy hour. This is part of our episode where we choose a character from the movie that we would have a cocktail with because we need to know more.
Yeah, and I'm definitely having a cocktail with Rhonda because I'm like, give me some of this knowledge you have because you was real MacGyver hooking that stuff up in that tent. Like it just made no sense. But you was on it. I need to know what you do, how you do what you do, because that was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm definitely having a drink with Rhonda.
Yeah. Okay. I think I would have a drink with. I'm gonna have a drink with Mr. Crocket, man, because golly, he was so entertaining to me.
I'm good on that.
I ain't going to his house, but I'll meet him outside.
You gotta go to his house now. You gotta go. You gotta be.
Oh no, I'll meet him out somewhere. I'll be like, no, I can't go over there now. But you know what? One last thing that I did like that this movie did before we go into what we're binging. Usually, I don't really like when it's done in some ways when like they wrap up a movie and it's like, especially when they have like, you know, at the end, I don't know what it's called, but at the end they're like, such and such graduated from school and they never ever had a problem and such and such they went on to get this job. But I did like the way that they showed the family at the end, and I was like, that was a very sweet little montage about showing them they were finally the team that she wanted them to be. So I thought that was really sweet and tender, how they seemingly moved on from this trauma.
Right. But did they?
Yeah. But did they?
Did they?
I was like, why does fool still want that dude to be his daddy?
Yeah, I'm like, and then he was also missing his real daddy. I'm just saying they could. Yeah, sometimes you can't even say nothing about it. You're like,
I have not the words. Yeah, that was yeah.
Because I was like, when he was drawing the picture, okay, he drew his mama, he drew himself, and then he drew Mr. Crockett with some dad. I was like, bro, you was going crazy over missing your dad. Like, you was going nuts over missing your dad. And all of a sudden, this dude show up, and you like, yes.
And I could not understand the parallel that the teacher was making. Like,
yeah,
did he beat the kids up or what was he? I don't know.
Yeah, they were showing pictures. I was like, I don't know. And if he's beating up all these children, y'all wasn't gonna say nothing. Y'all was just gonna just let it be, huh? Y'all wasn't gonna try to. Y'all want to wait? I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah,
was like they wanted to do something at the end. Like, okay, just end the movie if you ain't got nothing else to do. Don't just try to keep it going just because you can. Like,
yeah, I wish that they would have just shown, like, oh, the final scene is, oh, it's Mr. Crockett and he's trying to figure out a way to get back to, you know,
exactly.
But showing that, oh, the kid really did like him. Like, it's just like, okay.
Which it didn't seem that way when he was leaving. He wasn't like,
he was like, get your hands off me. Like, he was
he was real like, let me go in the little ripped up pants. I was like, let him go.
I don't know. Kids be dumb sometimes. So I we'll be here all day trying to understand. That's all I can just chalk it up to. Is just kids be just dumb.
Kids be kidding.
They kids be kidding. So yeah. But all right. Well, what you binging on? Share with our listeners what you've been watching this week, and what are you getting ready to watch?
I watched first 2 episodes of Abbott Elementary.
Okay.
Still good. Still a good show. Great show. Great writing.
Yes.
Great cast. Abbott Elementary. Still fire.
Yes.
I think this is what, the 3rd or 4th season?
I
3rd
think
season?
so.
3rd season. Still good.
Yeah, that show's done really well.
I wanted to keep going.
Yeah.
I just wanted to keep going. I don't even care. Keep it
It scared
moving.
me. Like when they canceled Grand Crew, I was like, please don't do Abbott next too now, because canceling Grand Crew broke my heart. I
Grand
loved
Crew
it.
was so good.
It
Grand
was
Crew
such a
was
good
so
show.
good. I was late to the show, but man, once I got into it, I was like, this
Yeah.
is good.
That
This is
broke
really
my
good.
heart. But yeah. What else you watching?
Let's see. Show on Netflix called My Name. Watching that.
Okay.
It's a little short series about a young woman whose father is murdered, and she goes out to get her revenge.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
And also watching From, of course, still From. Always From.
I am not watching From because
Yeah, better.
I just don't have access to From.
Oh, you don't have access to From.
I don't have access to From, but it's okay. I'll get it, and when all the episodes come out, I will reinstate my subscription to, what is it, MGM?
MGM Plus. Yep.
About 5 minutes, and then that's all I need, and I'm gonna watch all the episodes.
If you watch all the episodes in 5 minutes, please let me know how you did it.
Yep. No. So we have a question. Does it have to be a series? No. If you want to share with us what you're binging, it could be a series or movie. Yeah, we would love to hear what you're watching. Me, I am watching. So I watched Interview with the Vampire and finished it. Really, really good. So I watched season 1 because season 1 is on Netflix, and my brother was like, yeah, season 2 is already out. So I was like, oh man. And that is like the best feeling when you watch a series and then you be like, dang, it ended. And then you get a notification, season 2 is out. So yeah, so I watched season 2. That was great. I also watched I'm watching American Horror Stories, the spinoff of the American Horror Story show, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they have American Horror Story, which is the season.
The main.
Yeah, and then the spinoff is like the one episode story. Stories.
Okay. Yeah, I left that show a while ago.
Yeah, well, that's how I've been watching it. So I'm like in season 2, and so I'm watching that. I'll be finishing up probably season 3 this week, and I am going to Menendez. The Menendez show is on my list. I'm going to watch that next.
Heard about it, but I'm just.
It ain't for everybody. It's dark, but I everyone that
like Dahmer. Everybody was talking about Dahmer, and I was like,
that's what I was gonna say. Like everyone who's watched it, like kind of like likened it to like the vibe of it to Dahmer, and I did enjoy the Dahmer series. I'm not exactly proud of it and happy about it because the family members didn't really care for it, but I have to admit it was very well done. Very well done. And Ryan Murphy, for him to be an asshole, he is a genius when it comes to TV programs. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna watch that next, and I think that might be it. I'll probably pick up some more stuff on Hulu. It's getting ready for Halloween. So this is our last episode for October. Do you have Halloween? Let's talk about Halloween. You got Halloween plans? What are you doing for my babies?
The regular. They going trick or treating. I'm handing out candy.
Have you bought your candy yet?
Nope, not yet.
Me either.
Probably because candy is like $8 trillion.
Bro, their bags go up every year. Like the bags I bought last year, they're like the $20 bag. The $25 bags are now $29. And I'm wondering if I need to get my candy from Walmart like I usually do, if I need to go to Costco and get it. But the Costco bags don't seem all that impressive. So I don't
I
know.
don't know, man. Stuff is so expensive. I'm just like, I'm gonna get what I can get. They can get what they can get, and then
Yeah,
that's
these
it.
kids might get canned goods. I ran out of candy. Here go a can of green beans. Look,
Not a
everybody
can
can
of green beans.
use.
If I
Like,
was,
it's a lady down the street giving out cans of butter beans.
if my child came back with some canned goods, it'd be a problem. I'm like, where you get this from?
It's sealed. I ain't do nothing to it. It ain't a razor blade in
Like,
it.
just turn your light off. You ain't got to give out anything.
Oh, I didn't
Turn
know
your
that was
light
an
off.
option. I still want to see all the babies in their costumes, but I done ran out of candy. So here go a little bag of chips. Like I give out sleeves of the Ritz crackers. Here you go. Nah, that's just expensive now. So
Not a sleeve. Oh man.
I had to open up a sleeve. I mean, here go 5 crackers. Your mama saw me open up this sleeve of crackers. Now you get you a few of these crackers out of here. Sorry.
That's crazy.
But yeah, but that's my plan too, is to buy a bunch of candy, and I'm gonna decorate the house. But I'm going out of town, so
You
like,
gonna decorate for what?
well, I got a couple of things. I mean, I don't go all out, but I got a couple of
Oh,
things
okay. I was
that,
about to say, only decoration you getting from me is me standing outside handing
and
you
that's
candy.
scary enough. I ain't even gonna hold
Exactly. Hey, here you
it.
go. Get a couple pieces of this and keep moving, kid.
Well, I have a little witch projector light, and then I have my little skeletons in the window,
Okay.
and
Yeah, that's all you need. You don't need a whole lot.
yeah, I ain't showing out, like, no, because I
Yes.
decorate the most for Christmas, because I don't know, I just do. I like Christmas, and
Some
Christmas is
people they be, oh man, people be showing out. Like people be they got these LED lights around their house, and it's like it's flashing like a haunted house. It's a pretty
yeah,
cool effect. I ain't even gonna lie. It's a pretty cool effect on your house. I was like, that's
yeah.
so
I
nice.
want to do, like, I was looking at this YouTube video of people, like, they did that projector with the skeletons dancing in the window,
Mhm.
and they showed how to do it, and I was like, I might try it, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I
Yo
feel.
scary behind you.
Oh
Get
yeah,
pull
they
up to your house and you get
got
scared.
roll that in there. Oh, okay.
You won't even go home.
I mean, oh yeah, I forgot I put them skeletons in there. Yeah, I've done that, because it's been times where, like, somebody will come to my house, and we'll ride off in my car together, and I come home, I'll be, who at my house? And it'd be their car, and I'm like, oh, good. Who was here
Oh,
waiting on me? So yeah, look, I ain't never claimed to have all the smarts. So, but yeah, so well, that's it. I think we're
yeah.
good. We have any final thoughts on on Mr.
I
Crocket?
think we hit him, Mr. Crockett.
Yeah.
Looking
Well,
forward to the sequel because I know it's gonna be one.
I ain't gonna say I'm looking forward to it, but, well, I don't know. I am. I'm looking forward to more Mr. Crocket. Mr.
Yeah,
Crocket need a YouTube show.
he needs something. Yeah, because I
I
was,
enjoy him so much.
because he was like he just show up, but he be like he don't be like real rah rah. Like, oh, you got a potty mouth.
Like, he come
Like,
in real sinister, like real slow, like, I see you need an attitude adjustment. And
yeah,
then he
pretty
just
much.
build and build and build. And then by the end of his scene, he like jumping off the roof. Like, he was like very animated, but at the beginning moments, he was real. Oh, you need a visit from Mr. Crockett.
Yeah, he was real like. At least he give you a chance. Some people don't give you no chance. He give you a chance. You just got to take it.
That's right. All right, y'all. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in today. We had a great time discussing Mr. Crockett,
Mhm.
and we hope you enjoy listening to our thoughts and insights. And if you want to know more about Sips and Scripts, head over to our website, sipsandscriptspodcast.com. Or follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Sips and Scripts Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, whether you want to suggest a film or if you got some thoughts on today's episodes. If you just want to say, hey, we'd love that too. Drop us a DM on social media. Until next time, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Oh. drinking and drinking.